Well, believe it or not, at one point, your favorite comics sucked.
Everybody's arms are crossed.
At the beginning, we're all supposed to suck.
Yo,
Got my one-liner.
what's more American than failing?
Feel my weekend gig has turned into a one-nighter.
I thought the set went well. Yeah.
The tables in the back are digging my dick jokes.
That's what comedy's about, man. It's about bombing. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, that's not what you want.
They give me the sign, I give them my closer.
I'm just over 500 with good shows versus bad shows.
Just enough to get in the playoffs.
I hit the punchline.
All right, this is a good episode.
Fuck it.
Long story short,
He failed. God damn it. Yes,
Wait.
misery loves company, my boy.
thanks for coming out. Boom.
Thanks for coming out, baby. Thanks for coming out.
Hey.
Thanks for coming out. Are we under attack?
Thanks for coming out. Fuck, that bad?
Thanks for coming out. I'm in. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Oh, that was unprofessional.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The bomb is the bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of Thanks for Coming Out, a podcast about bombing. We're here to highlight your favorite comedians and let you know that, hey, even though they're great, even though they're crushing and they're touring all over the country, every now and then you take a hot one, and that's called Thanks for Coming Out. And we have one of our pals, one of our dearest friends. He's a writer. He's an actor, brilliant stand-up comic, has been in the business for a minute. And, you know, this guy's a vet and deserves the respect that he gets. My friend, one of the nicest guys to me when I first got to Sirius, by the way, didn't know me from a hole in the goddamn wall and treated me so nicely. It fits the last name. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chuck Nice joining us. Chuck, how are you, sir?
What's up, guys? What's up? That was a beautiful introduction. And I love the idea of didn't know me from a hole in the wall. I can now say I was Shuli's glory hole at Sirius XM Radio. Wonderful.
You and my wife are the only two that can have that credit on their bio. So,
There you go.
Chuck, thanks so much for coming out. I mean, you've been. I remember starting out in stand up watching Chuck on the VH1. You know, I love the '90s. I love the '80s. Anything that they love, Chuck
Yeah.
was in the mix.
That's true.
And when I got to New York, you know, jumping around the clubs and trying to get spots, and I would see Chuck, man, and not only would he be great on stage, but you're one of those guys that's even funnier off stage, hanging out and chilling after a show. You don't run out of the room. You don't avoid people. You're not too good for anybody. You are there. You're a man of the people. You get fucked up with the fans after the show. Sometimes they twist your arm. I get it. And and you're just such a personable, nice, fun guy, man.
Oh, yeah. Now I just realized why I'm not successful.
Just hit you, huh?
Yep. The realization just took root right there.
When I see it on paper, it doesn't look good. When did you start doing stand-up? Was it the first thing you started? Did you start writing first? Did you start acting first?
Oh yeah, I did. So I did stand up back in the '90s, and I just went on stage. I was a national sales manager for a toy manufacturer, and somebody in the office said, "Hey man, you're really funny." And they had a friend who had a son who was going down to do open mics in Philly, where I'm from. You would never know about his hat, and but I went down and I did it. I said, I'm only going to go if the whole office comes, because, you know, I don't want to be, you know, if I fail, at least I want some people there I know afterwards to say, it's okay, you know. But I was used to speaking in public and all that kind of stuff because that's, you know, what my job was. So
and also having friends there ensures that you're going to get a chuckle or two.
At least some kind of laughter.
Correct.
Yeah. So I recommend that. Anybody starting out, if you do your first show, make sure you have some people there that now mind you, none of these people have ever come to see me again.
After one and done.
One and done.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted. I wanted some support there. And so I went. Now, here's what was funny. I was looking out into the audience. I'm expecting my people to laugh, which they were, but everybody was laughing.
Wow.
That's insane.
I mean, the whole room was just like, this dude, damn. And so when I was done, this comedian who became my best friend, unfortunately, he passed away, Lee Morgan, came up to me afterwards and he was like, yo, man, that was great. Where are you working out? And I went, the sporting club.
Yeah. Equinox.
Yeah. And I was not like doing that like as a bit or a gag. I had no idea what he meant. What do you mean work? He was
Yeah,
like,
you're
nah,
not in the industry. You
right.
don't know the lingo. You don't work any. This is literally your first. I mean, picture this for people who can't comprehend what he's saying. Imagine you've never swung a bat before, and you go into Fenway and you knock one over the green monster your first pitch.
First
You know,
pitch.
like that's insane.
Yeah.
We are all supposed to suck that very first time. It's
Right.
about getting over that fear of being up there that first time. Really, it's
Yeah.
not about getting laughs. And here you are doing the exact opposite.
Did the exact opposite, which sucked me into comedy. But what I didn't realize is you can have a good night. That's comedy. That's it. You can have a good night. It's like, you know, you can trip and fall into a vagina.
You can.
Okay, but you know, that's a possibility. And if it happens, wow, you got a story for the rest of your life. It ain't gonna happen again.
It's a scratch off ticket.
Right, it's a scratch off ticket. And so that's what happened to me, which was great because had I failed, I would have said to myself, all right, Joan, I did what you said. See, it didn't work out. But instead, I've never been so high in my life. Instead, I experienced something that I didn't know was possible for me to even experience. Like, damn, I want to do this forever.
The coolest job ever. I just found it.
I just found it.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was like, I'm doing comedy. And then so Lee was just like, yo, I'm gonna take you around. I'm gonna take you around, man. He said, this is my first night ever doing comedy. And so I owe a lot to this guy. And he was just like, I'm telling you right now, man, you're gonna make it. And he was like, we might be friends or not, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna help you make it because you're going to make it.
And
And he was,
that's insane to me because when we're starting out, James, I know you're in the same boat with me here. We just wanted to know from people above us if we were funny. Forget about making it.
yeah.
Like, are we even remotely near funny doing this? Should we? Right, James? I mean,
I was just hoping someone would tell me one of the 20 minutes I had on lesbians in 2001. Please, Pyro Pete and Joe Lowers, veterans who would do 8 row gigs a year or whatever they did. Please tell me that my 10-minute performance piece on fat chicks is phenomenal.
Right.
Please tell me that.
Yeah.
right.
But the thing was, it didn't last. You know, we started going around.
The other foot drop.
And the other foot dropped, and it dropped hard. It dropped right up my ass. That's where it dropped. But
they say in wrestling, the guy looks great. He's got a great physique. He's got a great look, and then the bell rang.
And
They
then
say, the bell rang.
There
right?
you go. And
yeah.
so, you know, I was that guy, you know, before the bout, you know, the guy, he's got the head moves and he's punching himself. And then, you know, and then he pulls a Michael Spinks.
96 seconds.
Right.
That first bomb, though, I mean, it's got to be such a crash back down to earth.
Oh, I remember it so well. So here's what happened. I started doing the open mics, and all the other comedians from my very first show were at all the other open mics. Okay. So now here they are. First of all, they think I'm coming down from New York.
Right.
But
Which is a no in Philly.
Right. But I lived there. So I'm like, yo, then they think I'm one of these dudes because dudes were coming down from New York to get stage time because it's only an hour and something away. And that's how tough it was to get stage time in New York. Matter of fact, that's how I met Louis Black.
Wow.
Louis Black was coming down to Philly just to get stage time.
It's
So
like crossing picket lines on a strike.
it is.
You know?
And so the Philly comics, they didn't like that. They were like,
Scab.
exactly.
Yeah.
You scab. So but they were like, when they found out I was from Philly, they were like, oh, this guy is funny. So they were supportive. You know what I mean? You know how in an open mic room, like the guys who you're like, oh, that guy is funny, but he's working out material. And you give him a little chuckle because you're like, there's something funny there. Like, and they were doing that to me. So I was just like, well, this is how these guys are comedians. Of course, they're not laughing the way I want them to. And, you know, I'm working on this material. And then Lee said, hey, man, this Friday, I've got a gig for us at the Hyatt in Princeton, New Jersey.
Been there, done that.
And
Yep.
he was like, yo, I'm telling you, man, they're going to pay us. And I was just like,
They give
oh,
you a room, you
right.
stay right there.
And he was like, so you want to do it? And I said, yeah. And he was like, okay, great. So can you give me a ride? And I was like, oh, so that's what this is about.
Learn quick.
So
hey, you have a car? Does it have air conditioning? You're gonna make it in this business.
Exactly.
I'm
You know.
telling you.
So we went. So now here's what they did. There was supposed to be a nighttime show, and then there was an afternoon after work happy hour show.
Oh boy.
And the afternoon after work happy hour show.
Listen to Shuli aside. We know where this is going. Oh
This is
no.
bad. This is like prom night shows.
That is where I made my true public debut.
Oh no.
Oh, Bubba.
So they stopped these people. First of all, nobody's sitting down.
Right. Everybody's doing something else while this
Everybody's doing
show is
something
about to
else.
start. Nobody's there for this show.
Secondly, everybody's up on this little deck and they put us down on the lawn.
Oh no.
So they're all looking down on us.
No.
So already there's like this superiority hierarchy that's taking place.
It's the old talk show bit where the host
Right.
is up a couple feet higher than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like Kaufman.
So these people are standing around like they're, you know, like French aristocracy, looking down at the, you know, jesters who they will eventually order to their death. Like, so I go out.
You just see him putting a thumbs down from up
Like
top on
Caesar.
the balcony.
So we walk out and the lawn is filled with goose shit.
No.
Oh.
So much so that you cannot walk on the lawn without getting it on your shoes.
Ugh.
So that's why they have a deck.
Well,
Understood.
Because you can't walk on the lawn.
But really, a credit to our industry, make us stand all up in it.
Right.
That's how much respect we got for you guys.
So we you know, Lee is hosting and he goes, yo, man, I'm gonna let you do like this. It's just the two of us.
Oh,
And
boy.
then he was supposed to host, and I was supposed to middle for the evening show, and I only had 7 minutes of material.
Yeah.
But I took the job because I was just like, shoot, I'll be funny. I'll just talk.
I mean, you've been on stage a handful of times. Like the fact that you have 7 minutes is impressive.
But I was like, you know, like how hard can 30 be?
But that is the beginner's thing where
Yeah.
you get a little bit and you're like, okay, this is great. What you just said, everyone has done. Oh,
Right.
I'll just talk.
I'll just talk.
We're all at a point now where we probably have just talked and it's been fine, but we've all done it like 20 plus years. But when you're beginning, you just can't talk.
Well,
just
there's a difference
doesn't work
between
that way.
talking and talking and being funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, yes. And so, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do my half-hour special called Just Talking.
Just
And
just talking.
just talking. Chuck Nice. Just talking.
Chat me up with
Right.
Chuck Nice.
Talking here, guys.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm standing there with shitty shoes on, and people are looking down on me, and I start in on my 7 minutes. And when I say that I've never felt more insignificant in my entire
Oh no.
life. I mean, seriously, like, and I have been like asked to leave a whorehouse
Put that in the notes, Shuli. Can we come back to
Yeah,
that?
no, we're
Let's-
definitely going to get to that story before
We're
we
not
get
letting
out of
this
here.
one die into the ether, Chuck. But please go on with
He said it like he was a fat dude at a buffet. They were like, "All right, guy, let's go. This is enough."
Exactly.
you were bombing there too.
Right,
Was that the next game?
that's how bad I was. She was just like, "Here's your money back."
Like, you can't pull a chair up to
Right.
the buffet, sir. You
Exactly.
have to bring it back to your table.
Oh my
So-
god!
So
What up,
they were-
everybody? Want to talk to you about our sponsor on Thanks for Coming Out. I know these people well. They are an amazing company. They are out of Iowa, the best friggin' corn-fed Midwest beef you ever had in your goddamn life. Rustic Cuts, my friend. Don't worry, they got grass-fed too, if that's how you roll. They got it all. Ground beef, steaks, burgers, sliders. It never ends. And every single thing they have is delicious. I've tried it all. And you don't have to be locked into buying these big packages. You can pick whatever you want from their website, rusticcutscb.com. That's rusticcutscb, like cbradio.com. You go on there, you pick out whatever meats you want, you type in the promo code Shuli, you get 10% off your order. Order something, try it. You can't screw this up unless you just leave it on there overnight. All the meat is aged 21 days. You know what that's going to cost you to get at a steak place? Night on the town, babysitter, parking. Forget about it. Order it. Get it right to your door. Make it yourself. Feed it to the missus. And when she tastes this meat, deal closer, baby. Mariano Rivera coming out the bullpen. It's a wrap. So check out Rustic Cuts. rusticcutscb.com. They're the sponsor for Thanks for Coming Out. And we want to thank them for coming out. And make sure you use the promo code Shuli and you'll get 10% off. Now, back to the show.
So they were not only ignoring me, some of the people started like heckling because we had this big PA address system, which was drowning out like the conversations.
Oh.
So the people were getting angry because they were like, "You're stopping us from doing what we came here to do," which was
Again, that's not a reaction that people who come to see a show have.
Exactly. Right. They're not right. They're supposed to want to hear you. They're not supposed to want to hear themselves as opposed to you.
Yeah.
So this guy, was just like, yo, that's enough.
He just says that.
Oh
my god! What makes that worse is a yo. The yo is really the salty part of that.
But it's not even
you're
like
right outside of Philly, so you're gonna get a yo.
it's not like you suck or that wasn't funny. It's a plea. It's a reasonable plea from someone in the going, hey, okay, stop. This is enough.
Oh, man.
It was like he was speaking for the collective and crying uncle.
He was their representative.
He was tapping the mat for me. You know what I mean? He was tapping out for me. Like,
Yo, the towel.
Right. What?
He was like your trainer throwing in the towel.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yo. It wasn't even like he was encouraging, like, I gotta cut you, Rocky. Like, no. It was like, shut up. Like, that's enough.
It's almost like a stranger cares more for you than you care for you, because you're just going to keep going, and that's our job. Is we just keep going.
And I'm like, I'm powering through this. I don't care, right? But then it became adversarial because I started talking back to him, like, and
you're new at this, so you don't know. There's a staircase, right? It's like one step, but you don't call a guy a cunt right out the gate because things are going to escalate too fast, too soon. It's a dance, right?
Yeah. Wait, you don't? Some apologies for this week.
Some people don't.
So of course I take this personally because this is my public debut.
Sure.
I don't know that people will heckle you in this job.
Well, all you know is killing. That's all you've done.
So I'm like, these people love me.
Yeah.
So at this point in my, in my 27-minute career, total, collectively, my 27-minute career, I had this thing like the old guy, hitting on the 22-year-old at the bar.
Yeah.
Like, she's humoring him by not saying, "You're gross."
Right.
So she just lets him hang himself, and then she walks away, and he says to himself, "I could have got that."
That's right.
You know,
she was right in the palm of my
Look,
hand,
man,
right there.
I totally could have got that, but I got integrity. I wouldn't fuck a 22-year-old, But
Yeah, I gotta get up early. I
yeah.
gotta get up early
Yeah,
tomorrow.
but
I
she
can't
wanted
do
that.
this.
So that's my mentality.
Right.
Like, I don't understand that I suck.
It's called
Okay.
delusion,
Right.
right? We're just delusional, straight up.
So now I'm pissed because this dude is like, he's the reason why I'm not doing well.
Not the fact that you're green.
Right. It's his fault. It's
It's
not
his
the
fault
fault
now.
of the guy
So
who only
funny.
has 7 minutes of material
Exactly.
who's doing 30.
I'm doing
No.
30. I got 7, but it's his fault that that these people hate me. And so
That's stand-up comic math if I've ever heard it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's enough. I'm like, yeah, your mom said that same thing last night. Now, of course, I go straight to high school. Your
Right.
mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, by the way, now in Philly, everybody knows like the mom thing it's on.
yeah.
That, like
It's on site, right?
As
It's like
juvenile
once you
as that
drop
is,
it,
once you
it's
drop
on.
that, it's
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Right? So the outdoor thing, all the chatter, you hear it kind of get sucked away when I go, your mom said that the other night. That's enough. But I still shoved it down her throat or some old shit I said, right? And dude went just like this. Fuck you say?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no. He left out the what. He just said fuck you
Exactly.
say. That's not good.
Now, mind you, we're in Princeton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And
right.
by the way, this guy was Asian. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Like, that's how rough this was. No. Okay. So he does that, right? Now the room really goes quiet. All right. So now I try to come back at him, but before I can, now mind you, I got the microphone,
right.
which I didn't also know that this is how you handle a heckler.
Right.
You're winning because you have the mic. Your voice is amplified. I thought, well, he'll say something and then I'll say something back. Like, remember in the Revolutionary War, you learned they had rules and they would show up on the field and they would all kneel down and then they clean their musket and the next, right? And the way that the colonists won was they were like, fuck that. While they're kneeling down, come up behind them with a hatchet.
Yeah. They're like, we're not going to wait for the drummer to do a solo to
Right.
start attacking. Exactly. We're just going to go.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, he'll say something, I'll say something, he'll say something. This dude didn't stop. He just started screaming, and man, he was funny.
Oh, no.
He was funny. He just started. So now I'm hearing the laughter come back at me, but I haven't said anything.
Yeah.
It was
they're
like
laughing. They're laughing at you without your consent.
Without my consent. It's like calling into a canyon and then a different sentence comes back.
A better voice.
A better voice. You're just like, hello. And the voice comes back, well, hello. So the dude, so I'm being shut down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Well, really?
Oh, I've been there. That is, when you say really a couple times, you're fucked with the heckler.
Yeah,
you're
really, and they can tell it. They can smell. They're a shark with the blood in the water. Yeah,
I'm rubber. You're glue. Usually follows really a couple of times.
So, Lee is standing on the side, right, and now he's just like, do the bit about.
At this point.
He's like Coach Madden over there on the sidelines with the telestrator.
And so you guys know that if a comedian is off to the side, scream for you to do whatever bit, like your best bit, it's over.
It's done.
We've lost engine 1 and 2.
Exactly. It's like, what he's really doing is like standing on the deck of the Titanic and he's just like, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. And then like that's what's really happening.
And also, this is this one venue he locked down to do this show, and you are now potentially ruining that for him too
Exactly.
by doing this whole, scorched earth bit that you're working on up there.
Absolutely, man. So anyway, I love that I just turned my light on for the podcast like 27 minutes in, but
It just means you're taking it up a notch now.
yeah, yeah.
Build, baby.
So anyway, he's like, do that bit, do that bit, do the bit. So I try to do the bit, but instead of the fact that I started talking again, the crowd has now turned on me completely.
100%.
And they're also aware that there's someone funnier here, which is the guy sitting next to or standing next to them. It's not me.
Also, they'd be content with watching him be funny or watching him beat your ass.
Exactly.
Either way,
Either
they're
way.
completely on his side.
Right. So I have lost this completely. And I realized that I lost it. But now I don't know what to do because it is minute 9.
Oh, no, that is the worst. That is the worst.
It's minute 9. They're booing me. They're jeering. Right. So, I was like, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I came here. I'm standing in shit. You people are screaming at me like I am melting down.
Which is sometimes better than the material,
yes.
depending on the meltdown, right?
By the way, they were enjoying the fact that I was melting down. They were like,
because it was real.
Yeah.
It was something they, at the end of the day, the best shit is the realest shit, right?
Right.
So you're in this moment, you're vulnerable, and you're just like, this is your falling down Michael Douglas moment. You're just like, fuck all of you.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I'm at this point, I'm having an existential crisis because I'm not even screaming at these people. I'm screaming at myself. Like, what are you thinking? Why would this be the undertaking that you choose to pursue in life? Like, this is all going through my head. I'm like, fuck. Like, and I'm just like, you people are just, you know what you are? You're just mean. You're mean people.
Shame on you, audience. Shame on
funny.
you.
You're like the mom who goes and gets their kid after they get in a fight and then
Yeah.
yells at the crowd, how dare you?
How dare you? Right. And I'm just, I mean, like, because I'm hurt. I'm thinking like I'm the worst comedian ever. I'm like, am I really going to do this now? Like, I've never been this embarrassed in my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
I've never suffered this kind of public humiliation. So,
Yeah.
like, all that's happening. And so, because I'm hurt, I think like I just reverted back to a child. Like, you people are just mean. You're just mean.
I'm not going to be your friend, audience.
Exactly. Who has my ball?
And and you know how bad it is when you're doing life inventory in your head in that moment where you're going, what other career can I get? While you're dying on stage, you're going, what else should I do for a living? Because this ain't it.
I have a foot fetish, maybe ladies' shoes. Like,
So you're almost in tears. You're stomping your feet. You're having just a tantrum on stage with this audience.
Right. So now I don't know what to do because I have so much time left. And at this point, you know what I decided?
Huh.
I decided to quit comedy.
Yeah.
In that moment, in that living moment, after first time crushing,
right?
That quick.
Right.
This is what, weeks?
Weeks.
Weeks.
This is weeks in.
From thinking you're the next goddamn Pryor.
Thinking that I am Richard Pryor's illegitimate son, that he will be so glad that shows up on his doorstep. When that's the way I'm thinking about myself. That's it, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
So at that moment, I went like this. You know what, guys? You know what? You're gonna get your wish. I'm standing in shit. This is awful. It's hot. You're just not nice. And I just want to let you know that you have killed the desires of a young man. I am quitting. I am quitting comedy right now. Now, I expected maybe silence or maybe like, oh man, these motherfuckers started to applaud
Jesus.
and cheer.
No. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I mean, and they clapped for me until I walked through goose shit and was no longer visible.
Unbelievable.
And because they were on a deck, standing ovation. We didn't mention
Exactly.
that.
That's right. And so, at that point, the guy who ran. So, by the way, Lee had done very well, because Lee was a real comedian. I was not.
And he's also, you can be remotely funny after a set like that and do really well. You know what I mean? Like once you're following that horrific scene,
well, all you got to do is talk about the scene.
that's for sure.
Yeah, that's all you got to do at that point. Is you could do 15 minutes on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
yes.
he did really well. And then the guy who booked basically said, "Hey man, I'm going to call such and such for tonight's show."
Because there was a second show.
There was a second show. So it was just like, yo, tell your buddy,
tell the guy who drove you
exactly
here that he can't do this
that
show.
he can't do the second show. So now I'm just like, well, yo, bro, I can't do the second show, but like I don't want to stick around and like just be embarrassed sitting around while somebody else does time while I'm sitting there because I bombed so hard, And so once again, Chuck Nice, I was just like, yo, man, I understand. Tell you what, I'm going to drive back into Philly. When the show is over, I'm going to come back and get you. What time do I have to be here?
Wow.
Because that's how embarrassed I was. And that's what I did. I went home and it was a long drive. And then I went back and I got him and I took him home. And Lee was such a great guy, man. He was such a great guy. I'm about to cry right now. Shit, man. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all good, man. It's all good. We all have Lees in our life, man, that gave us that belief, that hope, that spark that we were like, shit, maybe I can do this. I mean, James is my guy from Vegas.
There's a bunch of Lees right here, baby.
Yeah,
man.
So check this. I'm driving him home. We don't say shit because he knows I'm super hurt. By the way, my daughter's name is Morgan Lee after Lee Morgan. When he died, I named my daughter after him. But this is why I'm doing comedy today.
Yeah.
We don't say shit. I'm so embarrassed, man. I ain't never felt this in my life. We pull up to his crib and he turns to me. He goes, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know something. You still gonna make it.
Wow.
You still like the best dude I ever see have a first set like that. You're going to make it." And he said, "Tonight, what happened tonight? Welcome to comedy." And then he got out the car and that was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the only time that we ever talked about that. And this is the only time I've ever told anybody that happened.
My God.
In my 20-year career, I've never told this because to this day, it still hurts.
Listen, it's why we remember it. It's why it sticks in our brain, but it's also what makes us who we are today on stage. That experience, without Lee looking at you and going, yo, whatever happened today fucking happened, but you still can do this is everything. It's all I was looking for starting out was one person who has done something in this business to say, you got potential. You can do this.
Right.
That's the payment when you start out. You ain't making any money doing this.
That's for sure. As a matter of fact, you got to pay money sometimes. When I started, you had to pay money to get on stage.
Sure, or you got to pay money to make flyers to put out for your shows, and it's all.
Or you had
investment.
to bark. You had to go outside.
Freezing cold.
What was in the? Let me tell you something. So, Boston Comedy Club. I used to bark for Boston Comedy Club down in the Village. I barked from. It was cold as I don't know what. It's February. I barked from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock to get on stage at supposedly 11:30.
Right.
And but always ended up being what, 12:50?
What's that?
No. The
11:30. No, you're right. The 11:30 always ended up being like 12:30, 12:45, right?
Yeah.
Here's what happened to me. I get into the club at 11:20 after standing outside, and they send these spotters around to make sure you're still out there barking. Plus, they want to see your flyer come in, like they know that was you.
Right.
So when I walk in, they go, "Hey man, we're really sorry, Mark Maron's here, and so you're not going to be able to go on tonight. Can you come back like on?" I'm like, "Bro, I drove up from Philly.
Oh, man.
Like
Insane.
I can't just come back. Like I don't live here." And they were like, "Oh man, I'm really sorry."
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's, barking, for those you may not know, you're out there selling tickets, and a lot of guys are just out there bullshitting their way into selling. They tell you this guy's performing, this girl's performing,
Yeah.
and you get there, and it's all guys like Chuck at that time starving for stage time who are performing.
Yep.
And so it's really you're out there middlemanning, for somebody, almost. I wouldn't say panhandling
It is
because you are
panhandling.
giving, but
It is.
it's on that level of you going around with a hat and going, "Can
No,
you help me out?"
here's the panhandling. Remember when New York Comedy Club wasn't owned by Emilio?
Yes.
It was
Sure.
owned by what's his face. But anyway, so he used to do the Brink shows,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and his thing was 5 people, five
Right.
paid
You bring
guests.
5 people, you
And
get
that you get your
10
10
minutes,
minutes.
5
You get your
minutes,
10
yeah.
minutes if you get your 5 people.
Right.
I think his was 7. I think his
Okay.
was 7. Anyway, I had at this point like really nice 10 minutes, and
Right.
I wanted to do it wherever I could. And
Right.
I used to stand on the corner of 24th and 2nd Avenue with my pregnant wife
Wow.
to get 5 people. And I would stop people and I'd be like, "Hey man, if you want to go see this comedy show, like, I was like, I need 5 people. I'm not from here. I don't know anybody here.
Right.
The price of the show is pretty cheap. If you could." And then one night I got my 5 people, and the show, when the show is over, if you don't have your 5 people in there, you can't go on.
Right.
It's a
Yep.
total scam.
Yep.
If you didn't get your 5 people by the end of the show, so I had 4 people.
Oh, no.
And this guy, and I was almost out of time, and this guy walked by, and I was like, "Hey man, you got to go see this comedy show." And he was looking at me like, "What you talking about?" "I gotta go see this comedy show." I was so like, he was looking at me like, "There's something wrong with this guy."
You're
And I
like
was
a crackhead, man,
"Yes,
for
exactly."
stage
I was,
time.
I was like, "Oh, I suck it if you go see the show." Like, so I'm just like, "Yo, man, seriously, you got to go see this show." He's like, "Hey, no, I'm good." I was like, "No, please listen to me, man, please." And I was like, "That's my wife right there. We've been on this corner all night." And then I was like, "Oh shit, how did that sound?" Like I'm pimping out my pregnant wife.
We've been on this corner
Like,
all night.
We've been on this corner all night. Like, so I'm like, "No, man, like, the club, they make you get people. I don't know anybody who lives here. And if I don't get 5 paying guests, I can't go on." And I went, "Dude, I will pay your ticket.
Yeah.
I just need a body so that I can get on stage." And he was like, "Oh, listen, man." I was like, "Please, sir, I'm almost out of time." And he was like, "Okay." I was like, "You can even leave.
Right.
Just go in there and just give them this money
Right.
so that they can." So he went in, he gave him my money.
You
I
physically
walked-
give a stranger money for them to buy.
Physically gave a
Come
stranger
in and
money
turn around.
to go in, and
That's the sickness, baby.
he went in, he gave them my money. I came in right after him. I was like, "I got my 5." They were like, "Okay, you can go up." And I went up and I killed. And when I came out, and this was when I knew what Lee Morgan said was true.
Hmm.
That dude gave me my money back.
Because you earned it.
Wow.
And that was the moment I knew. I was like, "Yeah, this is for me."
Side note, we find out that person, Barry Katz. He ran Barry Katz and it changed his whole life. You're going to be a bitch's kid. Barry don't even sound like that. But it's
Oh, that's true. It was Louis Ferranda. "You're going to be a big star.
You're a big star. You're
You're
great.
gonna be-
You're amazing.
Great. You're amazing. You're great. I'm
Hold my
telling
dog
you.
for a second. You're gonna be fantastic.
I've been in this business for a long time. Long time. You're going to be big."
I mean, first of all, if I could go back for a second, I mean, the bombing story is maybe the best one we've heard
Ever.
on this show. We've only done one episode, but no, I'm kidding.
It's the pilot,
It
Chuck.
is-
This is all ruse.
No, it. I mean, when you talked about what Lee said to you, that gave me chills, man. That it's so amazing the obstacles we go through, the the shit we have to, muck through and still continue to do this, where so many people with a normal brain in their head, like you said, James, the sickness, right? The
Yeah.
sickness takes you over, and we started in Vegas. We're in front of 12 people that all got a ticket because they ordered a shrimp at the fucking coffee shop. And they're not there. They're all sitting there with their arms full. And James and I just go up there and we're dying. I bombed so much, I had a rule that I could only shit on myself for 10 minutes after a show. And then it was over. And tomorrow was a new day and we'll start fresh. But like, the extent of the bomb, the brutality of it, and the fact that this guy who is clearly a veteran looks at you and says, "Welcome to comedy." You needed that show. You
Oh yeah.
needed that show because without it, you wouldn't be in this business anymore. Because you can't always kill. This is where the beauty of this industry comes from. Is the humbling, the down to earth crash that you get that either forces you to quit or makes you a better comic.
Yeah,
That's it.
man. That's it. I mean, that's what it is. It's like the only thing where getting beat up actually can make you better.
Right.
Like if you're a boxer and you're getting beat up all the time, you need to stop boxing.
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, but and if you're a baseball player and all you do is strike out,
Mhm.
unless you're a great pitcher,
Right.
this is not for you.
Right.
But this is the only thing where, when you fail and fail and fail, it will actually make you better.
And also those two sports, boxing and baseball, you can practice those in the comfort of your own area. You
That's
don't
right.
have to learn it while playing the goddamn game,
Yeah.
whereas we have to learn it while on the field.
Yeah,
And that
it's like being a boxer where the way you train to be a boxer is you do matches. That's
right.
it. You
Right.
only get in the ring with other boxers who are going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. You go, "Oh, I wanna take jujitsu." "All right, you're a white belt. You gotta fight next week." And you're
Right.
like, "What?
There you go.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?"
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
crazy. I was thinking about like what Lee said to you though. I used to illegally go to a bar when I was a kid, and this guy became like a guru to us. Shuli knew him a little bit. This guy's name was Joey, and I got chills just like Shuli. Our guy used to say this to us all the time at the end of the night if someone was having a bad day or something. He's like, "Hey man, you're my horse. I don't care if you win the race." And it's like important to be told that, like
Yeah, man.
especially in comedy. It's like, I know you're going to be great. I don't care where you're finishing right now. I
Right.
try to say that to some young comics sometimes when they take a hard L. Isn't it funny though? That's why I love the show. Like we're all talking. The fact that we can laugh about it is
yes.
so hilarious because we've been through it and we know it's going to happen. But like you see young comics and you can't explain to them that eventually you're going to get a callus to this. That
Yeah,
you're
you
going to be
can't
okay with it
it's
and
like
learn
it's like
from it.
you can't, they have to experience it. You can't explain the future to them. It won't make sense.
Yeah.
They
Right.
have to
Yeah.
live it. They have to
Yeah.
live through it.
Yeah. And the thing is this, now we know better than to just get up and try to do 15 or 20 minutes of brand new material.
Just
Nobody
talk.
does that. You work out your material by like, oh, you know what? I got a nice thing. Yeah, nobody gets up and does just talking.
Chuck, you could tonight. I mean, if you wanted to. This was also another thing. One of the reasons why we booked you, all the reasons we have stated, but I found it interesting. I've never seen you not do amazing. So to me, it's like this story's got to be the beginning, or we might actually have a guest who'll be like, so tell us your bombing story. Well, fellas.
Yeah, this is going to be very short.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you other people's bombing
Yeah,
stories because
yeah.
it has yet to happen to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I did a show last night, man. So, I do a lot of stuff with climate change and try to
Yeah.
get people to, activate themselves with respect to the climate crisis because it really is like an existential threat. Like, people don't know that if we don't do something 60, 70 years from now, you may be looking at like not the extinction of the human race, but a significant shifting of where we are in terms of our place in this Earth's ecosystem. And we're so full of like hubris that we fail to look back and see dinosaurs are not here anymore.
Right.
Okay, like we don't look at that.
If they were ever here at all, Chuck.
Look, I was hanging out with Kyrie Irving, and we were at the end of the world, and we were discussing dinosaurs, and we agreed that they weren't here.
Right. You know what? You know what happened to the dinosaurs, according to Kyrie? They walked off the side of the earth. Yeah, that's everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. The dinosaurs kept walking and
Straight
shit.
out.
They just floating in space.
Fell right off the cliff. That
fell
said
right
end
off
of
the
Earth
side of the
with
earth.
the sign right there.
You know. But anyway, so last night I did an experimental show where we got with these future climate scientists from the University of Colorado. They're students, and they took the comedians and gave them subject matter that related to climate. Then the comedians wrote original material about this climate topic, and we performed it last night. And
That's spectacular.
it was really great. It was spectacular for like what these guys did. We did the show. We met with the students 3 weeks ago, and everybody performed a fresh 10 tonight. You know that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was, I will say, on a score of 1 to 10, it was a 6.9 on the funny scale, which I thought was a true triumph.
Yes.
But I'm never doing it again, but I will do the climate show again, but never like this. I will give the comedians like, hey man, give me 10 minutes, give me 7 minutes, but like really work it out.
Isn't there a rush though of like after being in the business for so long, still kind of getting outside of your comfort zone is still exciting.
Yeah.
As a
It
comic.
was, listen, I loved it, but I
Right.
could see that these younger comics, and I had one other veteran comic on there, this guy named Nat Tosin, who was really funny.
Yeah.
The other comedians, I could see they were like, this is not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why are you so happy?
Yeah.
And like, this is not fun. Why are you so happy? But I was happy because, a lot of the shit that I did on stage, I wrote on the way to the club.
Get out.
Oh, that's great. That's
Look,
great.
I was excited.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, think about what your story was. You had to make up like 23 minutes, and how weird that is. And now you can write while fucking driving through a tunnel.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
good.
Man.
You perform it 30 minutes later, and it does well.
Yeah, and I was just taking stuff that, like, there was a homeless guy on a skateboard up the street from the club, and I watched him, and I was just like, we're talking about decarbonization of the world, and fossil fuels and this kind of crap, and I was just like, yeah, I saw a homeless dude on a skateboard up the street, and this guy in the audience went, I saw him. Which was great. And I was like, oh my God, you saw him too. And he was like, yeah. So now what he did was he set the table that this is not a joke. I actually saw a homeless guy on
This
a skateboard.
is real.
This is real. And I was like, yeah, I gave him $5. I was like, yeah, thanks for being carbon negative. And and all the geeks were like, yay! They're like, he did it. He made climate change funny and just one. Like, it was, but I loved it. I loved it.
I would have eaten such a shit sandwich at that gig. I'd have been like, I have to, but solar flares. Anyways, guys.
By the way,
that skateboarder, someone barked him in for the next show. Someone needed they got the homeless skateboarder.
Yeah, by the way, one of the strangest homeless interactions I ever had in New York was a handful of us comics standing outside the club in between shows, smoking, and all of a sudden into our circle of conversation comes a homeless guy doing he just walked in and he goes, is there anything I can help you gentlemen with tonight that you'd be willing to pay me for? I'm just looking for some money. And all of us are like, nah, we're good, buddy. Sorry, we don't really have anything. And he goes, all right, gentlemen, have a great day. And then proceeds to do 7 back handsprings out of the conversation, like Nadia Comaneci, right? It just flipping out of. And I looked at the other comics and I go, how do you not do that into the conversation? You know, we would have been showering him with money
Exactly.
if he
Dude,
did.
come back. You
Yeah,
buried the lead.
exactly. It's the one skill you got, and you do it walking away from money. You do it in
Exactly.
the opposite direction. It made me nuts. I
That
couldn't
is
get over that.
so funny. It's
So,
so funny. I forgot how crazy New York is and how different it is from any other city you're in.
yeah.
My nephew was with me last night. So we're down in, the East Village, and we're walking. And so by the time we get to the third corner, he goes, New York. Ah, the city that smells like shit, garbage, with a hint of pizza.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
An accurate description of all time.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's
Uh,
so great. It's
I
great.
mean, listen, all of this is a credit to who you are, the fact that, and all the people that we meet along the way are so important in this journey, good and bad. The guy that gave me my start, comedy wise, was, a guy that did a lot of other people's material, but he was the guy that was like, hey, if I gave you a phone book, you could make it funny, so keep doing this. And
Oh,
and
that's
that
great.
and that was all I needed to hear, regardless. He taught me more of what not to do than what to
Yes.
do, but I still learned, and it was still crucial. And then you meet the people along the way like Lee, and they're angels, man. It's such a blessing that they're around at those times when we need them,
Yeah,
because the comedy world is benefiting from having you in it. I can't
I,
imagine you
I,
not doing stand up, man.
I'm not
He's one of
sure.
those guys that it gives to everyone and is always
Yeah.
good and has people's back and is a great energy. Chuck is in my the special of the Check Spot is coming out hopefully around June, and we're looking at edits in that. And there's some interviews in it. And Chuck, dude, you're so great in it. You're like just breaking down the Check Spot because this ties into bombing. Chuck loves. I've never seen a comic of his stature love the checks, and we discussed that in the interview because you're like, it's a challenge. I can get laughs while you're paying bills. It's a double laugh. It was such a genuine moment in the special, this interview where we're talking about it, and it's correct. Chuck will tell them, go find more bills to put on top of me to make them pay less attention. So when I kill, it's even better.
Yeah, it's two
The
things
only
that will
guy I've
make you
ever seen
good.
do
If
that.
you're a comedian, there's only two things that'll really accelerate your growth. I mean, unlike anything else. Going ahead and emceeing, but weaving crowd work with material. You got to
Correct.
do both. You got to have the material and you got to have the crowd work. That's what makes a good MC, and keeping the show on time. If you can do it and keep the show on time, yeah, it means that you are recognizing the economy of time that you have in order to make your jokes work.
If you
And
can
the
do all
second,
those things, then if you can do all those things as a MC, then you're James Mattern. That's what I say, dog.
that's so
I'm
true.
0 for 3. I'm 0 for 3. I'm a 0-tool player.
Oh, no, that's true. No, you're the triple threat, bro.
Appreciate
And the other thing is check spots. If you can actually make people pay attention while they are giving the money, like
Yeah.
they're parting with their money.
Yeah.
They're doing
And
math. They're
right,
doing math,
exactly.
and you're beating them. Like
Right.
it's a competition, and
Yeah.
I get it. It's when James told me about doing this album with the check spot, I said such genius, because Brendan Sagalow is a comic that I remember when I started working at New York Comedy Club. He was the check spot guy, and I just remember going there for months, and every month he was stronger and he was better, and there were less people not paying attention, and to see someone earn that ability and earn that right to grab their attention and do it and succeed at it. It's oh my
Yeah.
god, man. It's like it fucking it gets me fired up. I love
Yeah.
it.
If you're a young comedian, don't shy away from doing the check spots. They suck at first, but then oh man, after a while, you're just like, Brian Scott McFadden, he was like, Chuck, you're the only guy I know that has a 10-minute check spot about the check spot.
So fun.
And I do enjoy doing that. I enjoy doing that that bit because people are looking at you like, wait a minute, you're just talking about what we're doing right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it works, man. You know?
And it impresses, but whether you know nothing about comedy, you know that this guy's riffing about something in the moment, and that's impressive.
Yeah.
Everybody gets that. What can we plug for you, my friend?
Oh,
By the
yo,
way, I
man.
just want to mention, Chuck has been on Sirius. He was on Sirius for years,
Yeah.
doing various shows. Like, you're a legit great broadcaster on top of everything else. You're really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as good as I think I am.
No,
No,
phenomenal.
because you know what? I'm great with somebody else. I think that the
Hmm.
truly good guys, like like Howard, he doesn't need anybody. Like you
Right.
can sit and listen to Howard. I mean, seriously, he's that good. Um, I need somebody.
Right.
That's so I'm not the guy that can really. I was thinking about doing a podcast like what's his name? The
Bill Burr?
Bill Burr. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying to do a podcast like that, and then I realized, oh yeah, he's good. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So
No, it's I have that too where I'm like, if my producer isn't with me and I gotta record something, I'm just the whole time in my head is just a voice going, "You sound like an asshole," that whole time. Nobody
yeah.
cares.
But yeah, anybody listening, please go to Disney Plus and watch my new show. It just came out. It's on Disney Plus. It's called Brain Games on the Road. Of course, it's a freaking science game show, but I really don't care if you watch it. This is what I tell people all the time. I don't care if you watch it. Just put it on, let it stream, and go to work. I don't care. That's all I need.
Done.
I need the numbers. That's all. So yeah,
Done.
that's it. And that's about it, man. I mean, if you see me coming to a club or something, come see it. Come see the show.
The
Chuck always
website or
delivers,
social
everybody.
media?
Always delivers.
Yeah, Chuck is always great. You never have a bad night, unless you were at that show at Princeton years ago. But other than that,
Second
he
show of all time.
right. Social media,
Yeah,
website,
Chuck
anything?
Nice Comic everywhere. So
Chuck
just
Nice
remember
Comic.
that. Chuck Nice Comic, and no matter if you put an at in front of it, you'll end up on some platform where that I hate, where you'll find me, doing what everybody else is doing. Social media is basically people screaming into a pillow inside a padded room, hoping that somebody will hear them.
It,
So,
we've turned into one giant pep rally, and it sucks.
yeah, I mean,
It
I'm
sucks.
I'm not that big of a fan, but you got to do it. What's funny about social media is you go into meetings,
Yeah,
Oh
and the
yeah.
first thing they ask you is how many followers do you
yeah,
have?
yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's where it is. I was in a meeting and I don't have a lot of followers because I don't promote my social media.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
You're not
uh,
on there. You're
yeah,
not a
I didn't
part of it.
realize you're supposed to promote it. And I didn't realize it was going to cost me work if I didn't. And
Right.
I'm in a meeting, and this is the third meeting, so we're pretty high up in this process, and we're talking about possibly doing a show. And so the third guy up basically now wants to know, like, okay, what kind of audience can you bring to this vehicle? And he
Right.
goes, let me ask you, how many followers do you have? And I went, well, I'm like Jesus. I have 12, but they're very dedicated.
They will come through like a motherfucker.
Exactly. I can change the world with these 12 dudes I got, man.
The greatest answer for that
Ever.
question I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah. Everybody laughed, but then he looked at me like, no, seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're
Well,
like,
shit.
hello, Judas.
Now you get those meetings based on numbers. You
Yeah.
used to have to get those meetings based on your agent or your manager. Now,
Mm.
nobody, they'll talk to you just based on numbers. You
Yeah,
get a
man.
hold of them.
They're actually like what do you call it? They're combing
Yeah,
social media and YouTube looking for the people that they can now talk to. Like, but what they don't know is none of that stuff, it doesn't even translate across platforms.
it
Like
doesn't last.
yeah.
Look at the NFTs. The guy who bought the first NFT off of Twitter, he paid millions for it. He put it out on an auction the other day. It reached a bid of $240.
Yay, I love it.
Smart business, everybody. What a
Oh,
It's
that
smart
like,
hustle.
dude,
yeah.
that makes me so happy.
Me
Okay.
too. I love it. I
That
love it.
really, yeah, it's like
Oh, you
that.
mean I can't own something in the future that I really don't own and make
Right,
money off of it? Like,
right.
Get the
or
fuck
that
out.
nobody else cares about or wants, or by the way, that everyone else has the exact same thing, but it's a copy that nobody can tell is a copy.
Yeah, listen. You want to be different. You want to earn some money and do something original. Put out one album like Wu-Tang did. One copy. That's
There you
it.
go.
That's the only thing you can do. Everything else is bullshit.
By the way, that was a brilliant move. The one
Oh,
album thing,
genius.
that
Genius.
was pretty damn. Except that Skrelly asshole bought it. You
Yeah.
know
The
that
big
what's his
pharma
name?
guy
Whatever.
or
Yeah, the
whatever the
big
guy
pharma dude.
he
You know, he
raised
had
up
to
the
sell it
price
though.
on AIDS medication. I
Yeah,
mean, talk about a supervillain. This dude was like
yeah, exactly. He makes Bezos look like Mother Teresa. It's terrible. You know? Ugh.
I love you, man. It's so
Love
great
you
to
guys
catch up
too.
with you.
Chuck.
We definitely have to have you back on again. And listen, if you get a chance to see Chuck, you won't regret it. Go see him. He's phenomenal
Yes.
stand up and a phenomenal guy. Good all around dude. Thank you so much for joining us,
Yeah,
Chuck. Thanks for coming out, bro.
it's a
Chuck,
pleasure. And James, I'm about to go put in my cellar
Freaking
of veils right now.
what people don't realize is I have a chain, an email chain or a text chain of comics I absolutely love, who are my friends, who I think are hilarious, who forget to put in their avails at the Comedy Cellar, and I'm like, I can't. I need you guys there. I want you. So I usually around this time on a Friday text Chuck
I
and
get a
Greg
text.
Stone.
Yeah.
Yes. So
What a
now I don't.
family.
You ain't got to text me today. I'm gonna do it right now. All right.
Go get it,
Love
bud.
you guys, man.
Late,
Thank you,
brother.
Chuck. All the best,
Love you,
buddy.
Chuck. Late, bro.
Peace.
All right. Playoffs.
All right, this was a good episode.
Fuck it.
Long story short,
He failed. God damn it. Yes,
Wait.
misery loves company, my boy.
thanks for coming out. Boom.
Thanks for coming out, baby. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming out. Are we under attack?
Thanks for coming out. Fuck, that bad?
Thanks for coming out. I'm in. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. All that was unprofessional.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The bomb is the bomb.